Hello and welcome to my final weapon showcase for Fallout 4. This is going to be a blowout showcase, so it's going to have almost all of the weapons from the vanilla game, from the DLC. So let's jump right into it. First off is the 10mm pistol. This is a standard weapon you can find all over the place. Some raiders some NPCs will be carrying it. You can get it from merchants. You get one of these in Vault 111, where you start the game in, and pretty good. It's a pretty good pistol. I like it a lot. I modded it up to look like the 10mm pistol from Fallout 3 and Fallout New Vegas. So it's a pretty good pistol. I like it. This is a 10mm submachine pistol. I call it submachine gun. They never put a 10mm SMG in the game like in past Fallout games, so I had to make an equivalent sort of. This is a 10mm pistol with a fully automatic receiver on it. It's got an extended mag on it, so pretty good weapon. I like the 10mm pistols. They're really cool. This is the 2076 World Series baseball bat. This is a unique baseball bat. It has a heated coil mod, which is part of the Nuka World DLC, and it's got an aluminum mod on it, which is part of the base game. This can be found in a vault underneath the city hall in Jamaica Plains. You have to get through a heavy security system in order to get to this. It's a really nice looking bat. I like it. This is the AK-47 assault rifle. This is a modded up, renamed handmade rifle, which is part of the Nuka World DLC. I modded it up and renamed it the AK-47 because that's kind of what it looks like. It's basically an AK-47. I originally didn't have a color on it. You can put different color schemes on it. There's one for the operators, for the disciples, and for the pack. I like the operators colors because it makes it look clean, whereas with the default colors it kind of looks worn and rusted and beaten. And I mean, if that's the kind of color you want to go with, go right ahead. But I wanted to clean this up and make it look a little nicer. This is a compact AK-47 assault rifle with the operators colors on it. I really like these rifles. They're really good. Here is an AK-47 sniper variant, because why not? It's got the operators colors on it. See, one thing I really like is this ability to put colors on weapons to show your affiliation with a particular faction in the Nuka World DLC. And I kind of wish they allowed you to do that with all of the weapons from the base game. That would have been really cool to be able to put an operator's colors on a 10mm pistol or a hunting rifle or something like that. That would have been really awesome. This is good for sniping. Anti-material rifle. This was a hunting rifle that I found with a 50 caliber receiver on it, and I just modded it up and renamed it the anti-material rifle because that was one of my favorite rifles from Fallout New Vegas. It's a really good rifle. This is the Auto Axe. This is a Mr. Handy Buzzsaw. It's from the Automatron DLC. I renamed it Auto Axe because that was one of my favorite weapons from the Fallout 3 DLC, The Pit. It was really good for cutting your way through those mutants in the steel mill when you were collecting the steel ingots. It's a really good weapon. I use this with the power armor. I only use this with the power armor. Browning automatic rifle. This is a modded up combat rifle, and it actually doesn't have an automatic receiver. There is no automatic 38 receiver, which is kind of a bummer. I really would have liked it if they had done that, but whatever. A lot of these weapons you'll see that I attached real world names to them, like I did with the handmade rifle. It's a pretty good weapon. I like it. This is a barbed walking cane, because why not? Barbed wire and a walking cane. Hey, it works. This is a unique pipe wrench called Big Jim. It's got a spike it's got a rail spike on it. Good for bludgeoning on one side, stabbing with the other. Pretty cool. This the Big Jim is a unique weapon, and it can be found. I found it in the basement of some abandoned store. I forget where exactly. There were some raiders loitering around, and after I cleared them out, I found it in the basement. So it's a good weapon. Bladed aluminum swatter. I don't understand what the difference is between a baseball bat and a swatter. They both do the same thing, so I'm a little puzzled as to what the significance of a swatter is. Kind of reminds me of the buzzsaw weapons used by the Psycho bandits in Borderlands. Pretty cool weapon, I like it. Bladed board. This is a piece of wood with a couple of saw blades embedded in it. Sometimes wielded by super mutants. Nasty weapon, but it gets the job done. Bladed knuckles. Kind of looks like Wolverine's claws. Kind of sad that you can't, that you only use these knuckles on one hand instead of like in previous games where you could use a set of them and you have knuckles on each hand. You'd run around pretending you're Wolverine or something like that. Pretty good weapon. Blaster pistol. This is a unique. This is a an alien blaster that I found in a cave. It's being carried by an alien. I had to after I killed the alien, I modded the receiver up to use fusion cells because the alien ammunition is extremely rare. I recently completed a quest in Nuka World with the Hobologists, and I got a unique alien blaster, and I got a few I only got like 2 cells for it, which is kind of ridiculous. It's like, well, the way it worked, the way it happened is I got the weapon for helping the Hubologists get to a flying saucer, and then I had to repair it, and the blaster was the reward for that one, for completing that quest. And then after I completed the quest to repair the ship, I got some ammunition, and it wasn't much. So, but yeah, it's a pretty good it's a pretty good weapon. I like it. I like energy weapons also, in addition to projectile weapons. This is the Blazing Katana. This is a renamed, heavily modded shish kebab. I got this from a raider boss at the Segas Ironworks. Here's some advice. If you don't want to go anywhere near the settlement stuff in the game, do not go near Segas Ironworks. Steer clear of that as much as you can. I made the mistake of going in there and clearing it out, and I ended up stuck with this thing in my inventory, and I couldn't get it out until I went to a farm, which turned out to be a settlement. And I had to talk to the guy that ran it, or owned it rather. And after I talked to him, I could remove the shish kebab from my inventory. And it's a kind of a bummer that the shish kebab was attached to a settlement quest. That really sucks. I like it. It's basically a katana sword with flame jets on it. This is the Bloodletter. It's a unique weapon from the Far Harbor DLC. I think it's a unique pole hook. I modded it up and added some extra hooks to it to make it more dangerous. It's a pretty cool weapon. I like it. This is another weapon that I only use with power armor. Boxing glove. Okay. Broadsider. This is a unique man-portable cannon. It was a quest reward for helping the captain of the USS Constitution, I believe it was. You have to help him defend the USS Constitution from scavengers. It fires cannonballs. Pretty cool weapon. I kind of like it. Again, this is a weapon I only use with power armor. There was a mod, not looking at this now. There was a mod that came out that added a power armor set that kind of looked like the Big Daddy suit from BioShock. You pair this with that armor set, I think it would just look awesome, just look really cool. Sad us lowly PS4 owners aren't going to be getting those kinds of mods, unfortunately. That sucks. This is a Chinese officer's sword, which has an electrified serrated blade mod attached to it. So I renamed it the Chinese shock sword. Good weapon. It's good against robots. Any weapon with an electrified mod attached to it is really good against robots. The Chopper. This is a minigun I got off of a super mutant. Actually, no, I think this is the minigun I got at the start of the game. When you start the game, you get your hands on a set of T-45 power armor and this minigun you tear right off the vertibird, so I renamed it the Chopper because that's basically what it does. It chops my opponents to pieces. I felt it worked. It just went, the name just went with it. Combat shotgun. This was, I modded this up to look like the combat shotgun from Fallout 3. The only difference between this one and the one in Fallout 3 is that the drum magazine in Fallout 3 used to be in front of the foregrip, not on the receiver where it is right now. So this is one of my favorite weapons. I like a lot of the weapons in this game. I have quite a few favorites though, and this is one of them. This the 10mm pistol and the AK-47 are my favorite weapons. Oops. Sorry. Next up is the Cryolator. This is a unique weapon that you find in a master lockbox at the start of the game. If you come back with Dogmeat after you meet him at the Red Rocket gas station, you can have him get this weapon and its ammunition out of the locked case. Fun factoid: the Cryolator was originally going to be a craftable weapon in Fallout 3, but it was removed due to causing the game to crash anytime it was used. So a lot of the crafting materials, except for one component, were removed from Fallout 3. The one remaining component was, I think, a crutch. And the reason why that was left in Fallout 3 was because it was used for another weapon crafting recipe. So, but here it is, finally making its debut. This is the Deathclaw Gauntlet. This when I got my hands on this, it originally had just 2 claws on it. I modded it up with a 3rd claw to make it extra deadly. I don't use a lot of unarmed weapons like this. I mainly use melee and ranged weapons. So, really cool weapon. Really deadly looking weapon. This is December's Child. This is a unique combat rifle from the Far Harbor DLC. What's interesting about this one is that what's interesting about this particular combat rifle is that the receiver it uses uses 5.56 ammunition, and it's also far lighter. It has a 25% faster fire rate, and it has a 15% faster reload speed. So it's a really good weapon, and it is a fully automatic weapon. It's not single shot. It is fully automatic. I wish the combat rifle had automatic receivers and other calibers. This is the Disciples Blade. This is a weapon that's primarily that's carried by the Disciples faction in the Nuka World DLC. This is the standard hacking blade mod. It kind of looks like a kitchen knife, honestly. Nice weapon. This is the Disciples Cutlass. Dangerous looking blade. It's kind of cool. I like it. This is the Disciples Knife. Funny thing about this is that this is actually, if you look closely at the handle of the weapon, it was actually made from, it looks like it was made from a wrench. It looks like somebody got their hands on it and just started just sharpening it until they got this really sharp blade on it. kind of cool. And actually, in fact, if you look at the cutlass, it's actually a disciple knife with a cutlass blade on it. It's kind of cool. This is the disciple's serrated blade. This is basically a hacking blade with a serrated edge on the opposite side. I like the disciple blades. They're really cool. Double barrel shotgun. This started out as a short shotgun, a short double barrel shotgun, but I modded it up to be a full length double barrel shotgun. I like shotguns. This is one of my favorite weapons. It's a really good weapon. Electrified Assaultron blade. This is basically the blade from an Assaultron that's been modified for melee use. This is another of my favorite weapons. I like swords, honestly. Wish they had more of them in the game. More really cool looking swords. I like it. It's really cool. I like it. Electrified Revolutionary Sword. This is okay. It's not one of my favorites. It's got an electrified mod on it, which makes it good against robots. Same with this one. This has an electrified mod on it. So, it's an okay weapon. It's not the greatest, but it's okay. The Fat Man. A man-portable nuclear catapult. I use this I don't normally use this for anything. Once I get my hands on a Fat Man, I just put them away. But if I did use this, I would only use it with my power armor. Pretty cool looking weapon. Gamma gun. This is a weapon that is primarily used by members of the. This is a weapon that's primarily used by the Children of Atom. They're basically hostile religious lunatics that worship radiation for some reason. If you see large balls of green energy flying across the sky, then chances are that's a member of the Children of Atom shooting at you. Gatling laser. This is a really big laser weapon. One of the disappointing things I found out about this was that it uses fusion cores. Fusion cores are normally used for power armors, or fusion cores are used in power armor. So that's a little bit of a bummer that you're more likely to go through fusion cores in this weapon than you are going to use them while wearing the power armor. So this is another weapon I use only with power armor, if I used it. I don't, so. This is the Gauss rifle. It's gone through a serious overhaul since Fallout 3 and Fallout New Vegas. This has actually got some heavy modifications on it. That's a suppressor on the end of that, if you can believe it. When I first saw that you could mount a suppressor on the Gauss rifle, I just laughed my butt off. It's the funniest thing I'd ever seen in my life. General Chao's Revenge. This is a unique Chinese officer sword. It has an electrified serrated blade on it. It's good against robots. This is a unique weapon. I forget exactly where I got this from. I think I might have bought it from a vendor, but I don't remember where. Good intentions. This is a unique laser rifle. I think this is either a quest reward or it was something that I found somewhere. I don't remember exactly where. So, it's a good weapon. I like it. Grognak's Axe. This is a unique weapon. You find this in the Hubris Comics the Hubris Comics building in downtown Boston. You find this and the Grognak's outfit, also in the same area. Fortunately, you can't mod this, and that's kind of disappointing. Again, this is another weapon that I only use with power armor, so it will go so well with that Skyrim power armor mod. Oh my gosh, just thinking about this with that armor set, just oh man. Here is the harpoon gun. This is from the Far Harbor DLC. This is another weapon that I only use with power armor. It's basically a man-portable harpoon gun. Normally these are mounted on ships. It fires harpoons. You could also change up the ammunition type to, I forget what the other ones are, but they're different. But when you mod the barrel, it changes the ammunition types. I think there's harpoons, there's barbed harpoons, and the other one is flechettes, I think is what they're called. So it's a really cool weapon. You can get this from a vendor in Far Harbor, or sometimes you'll even see trappers carrying them. And the funny thing about that is that sometimes when the trappers shoot you and you get hit, it actually adds the ammunition to your inventory, which I think is just hysterical. Heated Power Fist. It's basically a power fist with heat mod on it. Good weapon. It does burn damage, I think. I've never used it, so I think that's what the heat element does, is just it does fire damage. Pretty good weapon for an unarmed build. Heavy pipe wrench. This is basically a pipe wrench with a couple of gears on it to give it more damage. Pretty cool weapon. This is a heavy sniper rifle. This is a heavily modded assault rifle. It's got a semi-automatic receiver on it. Now you only use this with power armor. This is a homemade assault rifle. This originally started out as an automatic pipe pistol. I didn't know of any good automatic weapons when I first started playing the game, so when I got my hands on an automatic pipe pistol, I just modded it up into this. It's pretty good. It definitely did what it was supposed to. Hub's Alien Blaster. This is a unique alien blaster I got as a quest reward with the Hubologists in the Nuka World DLC. I also got some ammo cells and some alien power cells from them for completing a quest to repair a UFO. And I didn't get that many. I think I got like 2 power cells. So I modded as soon as I got it. I modded it up. I ran out of materials to mod up the grip, though, unfortunately. But the first thing I changed on it was I put a longer barrel on it, and I modded up the receiver to use fusion cells instead of the alien power cells, because those things are rare. You only get a couple of them from the Hubologists, and you get a bunch more from the alien. There's an alien in a cave near a crash site, and you only get like 300 cells, and once those are gone, they're gone. So I didn't see the point. I didn't want to waste them, so I modded it up with the fusion mag receiver. So it now uses fusion cells. This is a hunting rifle. Good reliable weapon for sniping. It's always a good weapon in previous games, and it still is. This is the Infiltrator. This is a modded up, handmade rifle from the Nuka World DLC. The Infiltrator was one of my favorite weapons in Fallout 3. It was a unique weapon from the Pit DLC. And that was basically a modified assault rifle with a scope on it and a suppressor. And that's basically what I did here, except instead of a scope, I used a reflex sight. And I put the Disciples colors on it. Because in the Pit, the Infiltrator and its other unique variant, the Perforator, were both black. So that was one of my favorite weapons in that game, so I wanted to remake that weapon in some way, and so this is the best way that I could think of. It's a really good weapon. Institute pistol. This weapon, as well as Institute rifles, are carried by synths, which are hostile robots that you will encounter in various locations throughout the Commonwealth. It's a pretty good weapon. Pretty cool looking. This is the Institute rifle, which is another weapon carried by synths. Pretty cool weapon, I like it. Institute scattergun. I wanted to try and make an Institute version of the Tri-Beam laser rifle from Fallout 3 in New Vegas. Unfortunately, the beam splitter mod on it does 5 beams instead of 3, so oh well. Cool weapon, I like it. Junk jet. This is a unique weapon that you find in the basement of the ArcJet Labs facility. And as its name implies, it fires junk. Pretty cool weapon. It's sort of a nod to the rocket launcher from Fallout 3. That was a craftable weapon that could fire junk from it, that you could use to fire junk. So cool weapon. This is another one of those weapons that I only use with power armor for roleplay reasons. This is a modified combat knife that I called the K-bar, because that's kind of what it looks like. It looks like a K-bar. I actually looked it up on the internet. It's got a stealth blade mod, so Pretty cool weapon. Kellogg's pistol. This is a unique revolver that you get off of the corpse of the person that killed your spouse at the beginning of the game. It had a bull barrel on it, but I didn't like the bull barrel. I don't like bull barrels on revolvers. Just doesn't look right. So I took it off and I put a standard barrel on it. It's a pretty cool revolver. I like it. Refills your action points on a critical hit. The one disappointing thing about the 44 pistols in Fallout 4 is they're all single-shot weapons. They're not semi-automatic. Well, they're not semi-automatic where you pull the trigger and it fires. You have to with these revolvers, you have to pull the hammer to fire it every time. And that was a bummer. Crim's Tooth. This is a unique machete that you find in a place called Dunwich Borers. It's located in a small room at the bottom of a deep well. You dive into that well, and when you get down towards the bottom, you'll find it in a small room off the side towards the bottom of the shaft. It's on a pedestal of some kind, and it's got a couple of mini nukes on either side of it. So it's a pretty interesting weapon. Targets bleed and are poisoned. Exceptional damage. So vicious looking weapon. Large meat hook. This is a weapon from the Far Harbor DLC. And I forget exactly how this starts out, if it's only got one claw, or if it starts out with two and one extra claw is just added on. So, vicious weapon. You can get this from merchants in Far Harbor, and you can also get this off of trappers. Laser musket. You get one of these after you get to Concord. It's a very interesting kind of weapon. It's basically you crank it every time you shoot. When you go to shoot it, you reload it by cranking it, and then you fire it. This is a weapon that's associated with the Commonwealth Minutemen. It's a pretty cool weapon. One little problem with it right now is that one of the updates that was released for Fallout 4 broke it, and now there are no muzzle attachments for it. It used to have muzzle attachments, but the muzzle attachments was removed during when one of the updates came out. So hopefully they'll get that fixed in the next update, whenever that comes out. So, laser pistol. So this is the Fallout 4 laser pistol. In previous games, laser pistols used energy packs, which kind of looked like 3 AA batteries strapped together. In Fallout 4, all laser weapons, with the exception, all laser weapons use the fusion cells. So, including pistols. So it's okay. Pretty good weapon. I like laser weapons. They're pretty cool. Laser rifle. This looks a lot different from the laser rifles in previous games. I modded it up a little bit. I changed the stock. I put a beam focuser on it. I put a reflex sight on it. It's a pretty good weapon. I like laser weapons. Laser scattergun, because I wanted one. Pretty cool. Laser sniper rifle. Because why not? I mean, I like I like coming up with ridiculous combinations of weapons. I didn't think laser sniper weapons was really viable, and they're really not, honestly. I mean, you don't want your targets to trace the shot back to where it came from. When you use a sniper rifle, you predominantly want to use a projectile sniper rifle because they don't see where the shot came from. But you know, it's cool. I like it. Lewis Light Machine Gun. This is a modified assault rifle that I only use with power armor because of its size and its weight. It's pretty big and hefty. I modified it up and I renamed it after the Lewis LMG, which is kind of where I guess the inspiration for the design of this weapon came from. I don't like the muzzle brake, honestly. I wish there was a different type of muzzle brake. I don't like those offshoots on it. They kind of look silly. Pretty cool weapon. Anytime I get into my power armor, I grab this and I just go to town on raiders and super mutants and whatever. Light machine gun. There was a light machine gun in Fallout New Vegas, and I thought that was kind of cool, so I went ahead and made one here. This is just basically a short assault rifle, heavily modded. And that's honestly, light machine gun is basically what the assault rifles should have been called from the start. They shouldn't have been called assault rifles because they don't look like anything like they don't look anything like assault rifles. But you know, that's why we can rename weapons. That's one of the coolest things about this game. MP507. This is a heavily modded radium rifle from the Far Harbor DLC. There is actually a weapon. There's a real world weapon that looks like this. I actually looked it up. It was a German weapon. I forget exactly what it was called, but the model number was MP507. And when I looked at it and I looked at this in comparison, they looked like almost identical. So I went ahead and called this one the MP507. I like naming my weapons after real world weapons. It's a pretty good weapon. I like it. Machete with a serrated blade mod on it. Does extra damage. It's a good weapon for close quarters combat. Missile launcher. The box on the side of it kind of looks like a part that was on the rocket launcher in Fallout 3 in New Vegas. It's a pretty good weapon for dispersing large crowds of enemies. Really cool, I like it. This is another weapon I only use with power armor. Multi-beam laser rifle. I wanted to call this the tri-beam laser rifle, but I didn't feel it fit because it's got 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 laser emitters on it, so that tri-beam didn't exactly really fit with it, so I went ahead and I called it multi-beam because that's basically what it is, multiple beams. Napalmer. This started out as a flamer I got off of a raider boss at Sega's Ironworks, and I couldn't. And after I modded it up, I modded it up with a napalm mod, with a napalm tank mod, and I thought, you know, why don't you just call it the Napalmer? So that's what I did. I renamed it Napalmer. Pretty cool weapon. This is another power armor weapon. Old Faithful. This is a unique laser rifle. I forget exactly where I got this from. I forget if I got this from a specific location or if this was a quest reward. Does double damage if the target is at full health. Perforator. This is another modified handmade rifle, renamed after a unique weapon from Fallout 3's The Pit DLC. This one I actually changed up a little bit. With the Infiltrator, it was a longer barrel. With this one, I put a sniper barrel on it, and a scope and a suppressor. So, it's a pretty cool weapon. I like the handmade rifles. I wish they were in the base game. This is a pipe bolt action pistol. Get this just about anywhere as random loot off of raiders. Good starter weapon. Actually, that's not true. It's not a good starting weapon. It's a decent starting weapon, but the better one is the 10mm pistol, and you get one of those before you even leave Vault 111. So, a pipe pistol. This is semi-automatic. It's not bolt action. Good, decent weapon. Pipe revolver. Good weapon. I like it. Pipe submachine gun. It works. It's not the greatest, but you know, it gets the job done. Plasma pistol. Pretty good weapon. You can get these from gunners. I think you can also get them from weapon vendors. Looks a lot different from the plasma pistol in Fallout New Vegas and Fallout 3. Plasma rifle. I wanted to try and mod this up to look like the plasma rifles from Fallout 3. I got it sort of close to that, but the one thing I never was able to get was the barrel. This triple barrel one works, I guess. The plasma weapons use plasma cells. In Fallout 3 and Fallout New Vegas, all energy weapons, both laser and plasma, used the same kind of fusion cells. But here in Fallout 4, the plasma rifle uses plasma cells. Plasma sniper rifle. I figured, you know, if I'm going to mod up a bunch of plasma weapons, I might as well make a sniper rifle, a plasma sniper rifle, so that's what I did. It's actually pretty cool looking. Gotta admit, it's really, really cool looking. Plasma thrower. This is actually kind of cool. It's it has a flamer barrel on it. So when you pull the trigger, you're spraying your opponents with plasma flames. Pretty cool. Prototype UP-77 Limitless Potential, Unlimited Ammo Supply. This is actually a unique laser rifle that I found in a bank vault at University Point, I think it was. I forget exactly. I think that might have been the location, but I don't really recall now. It's pretty good, actually. You don't have to worry about running out of ammo with this, at least for a long while. Puncturing pole hook. This is from the Far Harbor DLC. Pretty good melee weapon. Railway rifle. This is different from the rail rifle in Fallout 3. That one was the railway rifle in Fallout 3 was a craftable weapon. This one isn't. You can actually find this in. There are two places that you could find this. You find this at a railway station, and then you find you find another one in a rail car in a junkyard. Fires rail spikes. Pretty good weapon. I like it. Reba 2 does 50% more damage against mirelurks and bugs. This was a quest reward for helping an old guy clear out the town near the Salem Witch Trials Museum. It originally started out as a basic-looking hunting rifle, but then I modded it up with a 50 caliber receiver and marksman stock and some other little additions. Pretty good rifle. Righteous Authority. This is a unique weapon that is a quest reward for helping Paladin Danse clear out the ArcJet Labs facility. It's a pretty good weapon. Ripper. This is a melee weapon. You can find this in a couple of locations. I stuck an extended blade mod on it. Rockville Slugger. This is a melee weapon you can get from the baseball merchant in Diamond City. It's got a barbed mod on it, and it's got an aluminum mod on it. Pretty cool melee weapon. Smith & Wesson 44 Magnum. I like revolvers. This is one of my favorite pistols. I just wish that the receiver was semi-automatic as opposed to single shot. But whatever. Salvaged Assaultron Head. This is a weapon that is part of the Automatron DLC. You'll find this in a trunk someplace. I think it's one of the areas that you have to go to as part of the quest. So, pretty weird looking weapon. Sawed-off shotgun. I had a full-length double-barrel shotgun, and I also wanted to have a sawed-off shotgun, so why not? Shotguns are my favorite weapons. Shocking Puncturing Aluminum Rocket Bat. This is the mods that are on this are from the Nuka World DLC. So one of the really cool things about Nuka World is that it adds extra mods to a lot of the melee weapons. I just wish that the paint jobs for the handmade rifles could also be applied to other weapons too. Pretty cool looking weapon. Okay. Silver Submachine Gun. This is a unique submachine gun that you get as part of a quest reward. It's a little different from the standard submachine guns in that the receiver and the barrel and the magazine all have a silver color to them, and the foregrip, pistol grip, and the buttstock are all sort of a darker brown. Pretty cool weapon. Sledgehammer. with a heavy mod on it. You can get these just about anywhere. Sniper rifle. This is a heavily modified combat rifle. It's modded up with a 308 receiver and a suppressor. I like the hunting rifles, but they didn't really make good sniper rifles. And I found this to be a lot more, a much better sniper rifle because it's more stable. When you use the hunting rifles, you'll notice that there's a little more sway when you're aiming down the scope. With this, there isn't any, and you can put more rounds down range than you can with the hunting rifle because it's semi-automatic. So I guess that kind of gives it an advantage. That's one of my favorite weapons right there. This is a Spec Ops 10mm pistol. This is just a regular 10mm pistol with a suppressor and reflex sight on it. Spec Ops combat rifle. This is just a combat rifle with a suppressor and a reflex sight on it and a short barrel. The Spec Ops weapons that I made are for sneaking around, performing stealth kills and such. Spec Ops combat shotgun. I was laughing when I found out that you could put a when I found out that you could put a suppressor in a shotgun. But hey, it works. Spec Ops rifle. This is a short hunting rifle with a 50 caliber receiver and suppressor on it. Not much else to say here. It's a cool pistol. I like it. Spray and pray. This is a unique submachine gun that you get from a wandering merchant. I forget her name. The bullets explode, so that's about it. It's a pretty cool weapon. I like it. Stun baton. This is a baton that you get at the start of the game. This has a stun pack attached. This has a stun pack mod on it, so there's that. Pretty good weapon. Super Sledge with a heating coil mod on it. It's a pretty good melee weapon. You get this off of Super Mutants. Switchblade. It's a good melee weapon. I think this weapon actually, when you get the perk, the Sandman Kill perk, I think this is the weapon that you use to perform silent stealth kills. You'll see the Soul Survivor when you're crouched, and it prompts you to use the Sandman Kill. It kind of looks like you pull out a switchblade and you stab the target. It's a pretty good weapon. Syringer rifle. This is a really interesting rifle. The ammunition for this you don't obtain anywhere, and you can't purchase it. You have to craft it at the chem station. There's like different types of ammunition for it. So it's a pretty good weapon. Tactical Tesla rifle. This is a weapon from the Automatron DLC. It's a pretty good weapon. You get this from the same place that you get the salvaged Assaultron head from. I forget where exactly. I think it's an underground facility. It's a pretty good weapon. The club. This is a modded lead pipe. I just named it the club. I wanted to run around swinging it, yelling, "I'm gonna go clubbing!" I just thought it was funny. The Gainer. This is a unique 44 pistol. Its location is in an underground room near the ocean. Forget where that is exactly. That's all I know of it. It's a pretty good it's a pretty good revolver. The Harvester. This is from the Far Harbor DLC. It's a unique Ripper. It's got an extended blade mod on it. You'll find this in the attic of an abandoned warehouse near one of the Far Harbor settlements. It's in a trunk in the attic. The Striker. When I saw a video on this, and when I saw it, I was just laughing my butt off. I thought it was absolutely hysterical. It actually launches bowling balls. I kid you not. It launches bowling balls. You can change it to launch mini nukes, but I prefer to leave it with the bowling ball launcher on it. And the really funny thing is you can use the bowling balls and you can retrieve them. So that in itself is just hysterical. Thirst Zapper. This is a unique weapon from the Nuka World DLC. It squirts water, but I think you can weaponize various different Nuka-Cola sodas for it. So that I haven't looked at that yet, but I think that's what you can do. It's pretty cool. You can use it against the Raider Overboss in the Nuka World DLC. The Thompson M1A1 SMG. This is a modified, renamed submachine gun. I renamed it the Thompson M1A1 because that's basically what it looks like. The only differences between this and the real-world Thompson is the location of the bolt action and the type of rear iron sights that it uses. On the real-world Thompson, the rear sights are more triangular than rectangular. Those rectangular sights are associated with the 1928 A1 Thompson. And the bolt action on this one is on the wrong side of the receiver. On the real-world M1A1, the bolt is on the right side of the receiver as opposed to the left. So, but this is one of my favorite weapons. Throat Slicer. This is a unique Disciples blade from. This is a unique Disciples serrated blade from the Nuka World DLC. You can get this from one of the merchants in Nuketown, USA. So, pretty good weapon. Trail Carbine. This is a modded, renamed lever action rifle from the Far Harbor DLC. I wasn't really crazy about a while back. I wasn't really crazy about lever action weapons, but then after a while, after using the Trail Carbine in Fallout New Vegas quite a bit, lever action rifles started growing on me. I actually started really liking them. And so when I first saw videos of this, I'm like, oh yes, this is a must-have. I need this in my life. And here it is now. And that is one of my favorite weapons. I renamed it Trail Carbine because the Trail Carbine was one of my favorite weapons in Fallout New Vegas. It's a really good weapon. One of my favorites. Wasteland Spear. This is a pool stick with a combat knife blade on it. I couldn't. The name it had originally was just too long and ridiculous, and I couldn't think of a good name for it. And then I thought, you know what? Kind of looks like a spear, so I decided to call it the Wasteland Spear. And that's basically what it is. Wasteland War Axe. This is a tire iron with an axe blade on it. This is another weapon that it was called bladed tire iron, and that just kind of sounded really ridiculous to me. So I, after some thinking on it, I decided, you know what? Why don't I just call this the Wasteland War Axe? And that's basically what I did. Pretty cool looking weapon. Western Revolver. I'm not really sure if this qualifies as a unique weapon from the Nuka World DLC. I actually have two of them, and normally unique weapons, there's only one of that type of weapon. So, you know, I I guess you could say that there's only there's only two of them, and that they're still unique. So it's basically a 44 pistol. It's a pretty good weapon. And that's it. That's all of the weapons for Fallout 4. This is the final showcase video for this game. I will be retiring this character, and I will be starting over from square one. So that's it. I'll end on well, carrying one of my favorite weapons, the AK-47. Oops, I'm still inside the build zone, so get outside it. And that's it. Thank you for watching. Good night.